All right, welcome everybody to the December Florida TUG. We've got Pablo here to talk about all things ChatGPT. I'm not sure what else you got for us, but I look forward to hearing about it. Um, don't think we have set up our speakers for next year yet, but if anybody is interested in speaking for us, just let us know. You can contact Email or I or on LinkedIn and numerous other places. So feel free to reach out, and we'll start to get that scheduled and announced in the early part of the new year. Pablo, I want to start out with just a quick introduction of you. But since you're talking ChatGPT today, I wanted to see if I could get this ChatGPT intro to work. Now, I think the audio works. So if not, please let me know. But here we go.
Pablo Gomez is a distinguished figure in the Tableau community, celebrated for his expertise in data visualization and storytelling. Recognized for his contributions as a Tableau public ambassador, Pablo has created innovative and visually stunning Tableau dashboards. He has been named a Tableau Visionary in 2024 and has served as a Tableau public ambassador for 8 consecutive years. As a co-leader of the Comunidades user group, Pablo actively fosters collaboration and knowledge sharing among data enthusiasts. He also co-hosts the Café con Dados podcast, where he discusses data visualization trends and best practices. Additionally, Pablo shares his insights and tutorials on his YouTube channel, Pablo Gomez Data Monster, inspiring others to push the boundaries of Tableau and data visualization. His Tableau public profile showcases a variety of innovative visualizations, emphasizing storytelling through data and advanced visualization techniques.
All right. So there you go.
That's
The
an
floor
awesome
is
job.
yours.
Wow.
I've never used the audio feature like that before, so I thought, well, I'll give it a try since that's what we're talking about.
I'm surprised, honestly. That was a very big, nice surprise. Thank you. That was awesome. Fantastic. Well, right. Okay. So welcome, everyone. Let me just share the screen, the right screen. Right. Can you see my presentation by any chance?
Yes, we can.
Brilliant. Excellent. So I've got 2 monitors, right? I'm going to be monitoring both things. What I have in front of me, which is the presentation, guys. The other one, so if you see me moving like this, it's not that I'm not paying attention. I have my full attention. I just want to go through different things at the same time. Well, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here for today. I'm going to ask a very big question before we start. Right before we start, how many of you, and you can type yes in the chat if possible. How many of you use ChatGPT? Yes. No. Perfect. So we have a few. Daily. Nice. Very good. Thanks, Tara. Yes. Excellent. Now, next question. How many? Oh, no. Agustin. Oh, dear. We have to start using it. Hope you, after this presentation, you start using it. Another question. How many of you have ever used ChatGPT to help you fix a formula or do something about Tableau data visualization? No, yes, never, not yet. Formulas, yes, great. RT, no, almost exclusively. Beautiful. Not for Tableau. Okay, brilliant. Okay, excellent. So this is great. So we are at the right place at the right time, because the idea is that after this presentation, after we talk together, I will try to encourage you basically to start using more ChatGPT to help you improve not only your visualizations, but also to improve how you work and how you create, how do you fix problems, or how you solve issues with your formulas on your visualizations. One more question. How many of you have the paid version of ChatGPT? And the reason I'm asking this is mainly because I would like to know some of you will have access to one of the features and one of the things that I'm going to show you if you have the paid version. If not, you will not be able to do it. The rest, I will let you know which one it is, basically. Okay, great. Okay, most of you don't. Right. Okay, so ChatGPT, right? We're going to start talking about how we can use it. My name is Pablo, as Aaron was saying, and actually as ChatGPT was saying, it's a great introduction. It's probably the best introduction I have ever had, honestly. Sorry, Aaron, can you mute you? We can hear the keyboard. Sorry. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. And basically, it was probably the best presentation, the best introduction I ever had, honestly. So I'm originally from Argentina. I live in London. I've been living in London for quite a few years now. And and basically, I love Tableau. I love visualization. I love data visualization. I'm a Tableau visionary since 2023, and I've been a Tableau public ambassador since 2017. That's 8 years and that's 8 years now. You can find me on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect. Feel free to join. You can find me on Twitter or X as well. And my website is data.monster. Although I usually write and do everything in Spanish, there's also a newsletter on LinkedIn that I can send you the link later on, so you can actually connect there. And those articles are in English, basically. Right. What we're going to do today, we're going to be talking about AI and Tableau, basically. Let me know in the chat if you have ever had this dream. If you ever dreamt about being able to do this. Yes, yes, fantastic. Everyone says yes. Kristen, Gina, Bonnie. Brilliant, fantastic. Yes, we have all had that sort of idea to get to a point where we really can start not only interacting with our keyboard and mouse, but also in a much better way with our data. And we're not that far, honestly. We have seen lots of presentations, basically, in the conferences in the last 2 years, where Tableau is actually working on a very similar thing. However, what we can do is we can start talking about how did everything start? Can anyone guess when when AI started and when we started talking about AI? Can anyone guess by any chance? A year? 2019, in the 50s. Okay, Sharon, very good, very close. 70s, I believe in the 90s. 10 years, 90s. Okay, I'm going to tell you that Sharon was the closest one. Believe it or not, the idea of AI started in the 50s, in the 1950s, with Alan Turing. Alan Turing, even though he didn't mention it as AI, he got the Turing test, which is also called mutation game, right? And it was all about computing machinery and intelligence. So it was a paper. Basically, in that paper, Alan Turing was saying that there was going to be a point where computers will be so intelligent that they could pretend being a human being, or they can pass as a human being, for example. Then in 56, we also had the term artificial intelligence for the first time, right? And in the 60s, right, the first natural language processing programs were invented, or we had the first ones the first time. So fast forward 2014 to 2019, right? A long time has passed, but OpenAI is founded in 2015, right? Google introduces the transformer model, and in 2018, AI releases the GPT, which is a generative pre-trained transformer, right? We're going to talk a lot about GPT at the moment, which is basically a language where we can actually discuss and have a conversation, right, based on large data sets of data or information. Let's go to the last 5 years, 4 or 5 years. 2020, OpenAI unveils GPT-3, right? They had 175 billion parameters, right? In 2023, ChatGPT launches ChatGPT 4, which was much more advanced than GPT-3 a year before. And in 2024, we had ChatGPT 4.0, which is the latest version, one of the latest versions, because as I'm going to show you in a few minutes, we have quite a few different versions of ChatGPT. But this is the most robust and this is the best version that you can get at the moment, right? So what is ChatGPT? How can it help us? As we mentioned, right, it's basically a model that allows us to understand and generate natural language text. It allows us to interact with that text, with that information. And it's been trained, so it means that it's been pre-trained in one way or another. So how can it help me, or how can it help us in data visualization? And today we're going to see 3 or 4, depending on the time, depending on how things are going, we're going to see 3 or 4 examples of what we can do with ChatGPT and Tableau. First one is we're going to have a demo, of course, and the first one is we're going to look at how to resolve errors. We're going to look at how to resolve this issue. Raise your hand if you have had this issue in the past. Cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregate arguments with this formula, right? Tell me if you have had that issue. Anything? Yes, Rachel. Yes, of course. Natalia. Yes, 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 yes. Everyone using Tableau have had this issue in the past. Who hasn't? Exactly, Sharon. All the time, thing. Yes, absolutely. So yes, we all have had this issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I created a GPT. A GPT is a custom GPT. It's something that you can create if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, where it will actually help you fix issues, this sort of issues. And we're going to look at 3 examples on how to do that. The next one that we're going to look is how to create color palettes. How many times you have your visualization, you created your mockups, you created your wireframes, and you're ready to go, and then you have to pick the colors. Is it difficult or not to get the right colors on your VSs, right? In your infographics? Difficult, right? It's always difficult. Yes, Anthea. Yes, exactly. We always starting from a canvas, from a very simple point where we don't know right where to start. I'm going to show you another GPT that I created that basically it will help you get you started with some colors for your visualizations. And then we're going to look at something, and we're going to see how smart ChatGPT is at the moment, right? And we're going to look at what we can do with ChatGPT right in the future. I'm going to come back to this later on because this is a super important graph and we're going to look into it, but later on, right? We're going to make ChatGPT to think, not only to respond based on what has already learned, but we're going to ask ChatGPT to actually think, right? Okay, now, super important, very, very, very super important. This is a live presentation, which means that everything can go right or anything can go wrong. Okay, so bear with me if things do not go right at some point, right? Or if something goes wrong, or if we have an issue or something doesn't work. Okay, hopefully everything's going to work. Okay, now if you want to get those GPTs, there are some codes, QR codes that I was actually showing you when I was giving you the introduction. However, what's going to happen is at the end of the day, I'm going to give you a link where you can download the whole presentation that you just saw, that PowerPoint kind of presentation you're going to download, and you're going to have access to every single one of these GPTs, except for the think part that is not a GPT, but you will have access to all this. So don't worry if you couldn't get those QR codes. I'm going to show you later on how to do that. Right. Now, first one is I created this GPT, right? And this GPT is basically, I gave ChatGPT some instructions on what to do when we have this issue, right? And I also mentioned that you can start here, puedes empezar aquí, you can start in French or in Chinese, basically. The idea is that another thing that you have to consider is that ChatGPT doesn't have a language or speaks almost every single language, right? So it doesn't matter if we start in one language and we continue halfway through and we change the language into another language halfway through, it will continue working perfectly fine. No problem with that. So to start with, we're going to start here, right? And I was working with my team the other day, right? And I said to them, okay, I'm going to start in English, right? This is what we want, right? What's my name? To make it more personal, my name is Pablo, right? And we're starting a conversation, right? Now it's asking me to paste the issue or the formula that I am having issues with, right? So my team, one of my team, the other day was working on this issue, on this formula, and had that issue, exactly this issue. So I say, okay, let's see if ChatGPT can actually look into this formula and see where the problem is or how to fix it. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to look at it and it's going to start telling me, right, how to fix the formula. Right, it's going to give me some solution steps, right, and it's going to tell me whether and what the problem is. It's going to look into what the problem is, and it's going to give me, right, two different options, right? One with aggregate the non-aggregate field, and the other one is de-aggregate and making sure that none of the two of them are aggregated. Now, the good thing about this is that basically, right, we can actually come back here, copy the code, super simple, go to Tableau, and actually make sure that it works or not, right? So we can start building that connection. We can start working with that in that way, with that connection, and see how it works or not. But at the beginning, and this is a very simple formula, right? We're not looking into a very complicated formula. But at least what it started doing is giving us some ideas of what the problem might be. Imagine if you have a more complex formula where you can actually say, okay, it's super difficult to understand what the problem is in here, right? I need to get a better understanding. And this is where ChatGPT is going to help you, right? And I'm going to say, fantastic, can you help me with another formula? Right. Next thing we're going to know is that, yes, it's going to be able to help me with another formula without a problem, right? Of course. Now, how many of you have been in the forums, right, and have seen the Tableau forums, something like this? Someone that has an issue went to the forum and asked for a question, right, on how to fix a problem, right? So this is the case of, this is exactly the case of I, for example. And what happened was that, yes, he had this problem and he went into the forum, right, and asked for, sorry, I'm looking, there we go, and asked for some help. Now, imagine that he asked for help, and this is the interesting part. He asked for help, right, on the 29th of October, 2019. When we look at the thread, May 2020, June 2020, as you can see, it took a long time for people to actually start replying to him. If he had had ChatGPT at that point, or this GPT that we created, what he would have been able to do is basically come here, automatically paste that formula, and see what it says, and see how we can actually build in it, how we can actually start fixing it. As you can see, it's giving us a lot of information, and it's actually giving us a solution, a revised formula, because it found, first of all, it found an error, right? So it's giving us a revised formula, and it's also giving us a way to actually what to check, potential issues to check, right, key adjustments, and so on and so on. So basically, With this, we can copy, we can go back to Tableau and see how it works, right? So see if it works, if it really is helping or not, right, to get that formula fixed. So that is one of the options. The other option is that when you say, okay, I have another issue with another formula, right? Let's see if ChatGPT is actually willing to help us. No problem. Let's do it. Let's have a look at that formula. So we're going to look at the new formula. This is probably another formula, a little bit simpler, right? We're going to ask it if it can also check how to fix it. We come here. It's going to start looking into it. And it's going to look at then again, giving us some solutions on how to aggregate or de-aggregate 10 different options. The good news is that it's always give us 2 options, right? 2 different options on how to work with it. The good news is we can always copy it. We can go back to Tableau and we can actually make sure that it works, right? So far, so good. Do you have any questions? Probably if you want to do some questions, we can do questions on the fly, on the go. Happy to work with them, happy to discuss them with you. So if you have any questions, feel free to add them into the chat. How's it going? Do you think you can use this GPT at any point? Anything? Yes, you can actually ask ChatGPT definitely to ask the question. You can actually prompt ChatGPT to fix the formula. That's absolutely fine, no problem at all. Because I have had this issue many times, and because my team has this issue a lot of times, I created a GPT, basically. The GPT is not another way of creating something that you're going to do in a systematic way, over and over and over and over again. So instead of typing that prompt, right, X number of times, as many times as you use it, you can automate those processes, and basically it will actually help you fix that problem. And as Sharon is saying, yes, it will actually focus on fixing that problem, right? It will actually focus on fixing that problem. But it doesn't mean that it will only do that, right? I can continue the conversation. I can say, okay, can you help me doing something else, right? I mean, once you start the conversation, is the first objective of an existing GPT is to help you, right, fix what you asked that GPT to fix. In this case, to fix the cannot mix aggregate and non-aggregate arguments. However, you can continue the conversation later on, right? I could have said, okay, can I improve this formula? It's not going to make any sense because it's a very simple formula, right? However, right, we can say, let's see what it comes back with, right? The original formula goals, you see, you can start optimizing your formula in one way or another, right? So you can continue the conversation. You can always work in different ways. And it will continue giving you additional improvements based on the context, as you can see, and so on, right? So for example, here, based on a dynamically using the today's year or the current year, for example, how you can fix that. So it's not only set in stone that it's going to fix one issue, right? But it's going to help you continue making or improving further your existing formulas, right? Yes, Excel macros, which you can reuse. Yes, in a way, yes, but nothing to do with Excel. This is completely different to Excel. It's way more advanced, basically. Excel macros will actually do one thing, and that's it. Here, as I just showed you, you can actually continue and develop further into the conversation with ChatGPT. And if we were to say, okay, I will use this new formula and send it into into Tableau, for example. And if it doesn't work, we can come back here and say, look, I'm having this issue now. It's not working. How can I fix this? Which is the new issue. Right. Okay. So far, so good. Yes. Excellent. Brilliant. Now let's create some color palettes, right? Who would like to create color palettes, right? Let's say you start from 0 and you have to create a color palette. How many of you have been to that situation where you don't know where to start? You don't know where to start with the colors. Okay, very quiet. Now, then again, we can start either creating a color palette using English or in Spanish in this case, but then again, we can use any language we actually want. Now, the beauty of this GPT is, and we're going to do two things here. The beauty of this GPT is that we can create our perfect color palette, right? And for that, I'm going to give some prompts because it's asking me to generate some sort of information that we can use for that. And in this case, I'm going to start with something very, very simple. Which one of you like Formula One? Who likes Formula One? Watching Formula One by any chance? Right. As many of you know, for example, we have an Argentinian driver this year, right? Which is Franco Colapinto. He's been running for Williams Racing. And I said, okay, I want to create a visualization based on, I want to create a visualization about Formula One and Williams, right? So let's create a color palette, right, about Williams, Formula One, where Franco Colapinto is actually running. As you can see, it's going to start building the color palette. It's going to give me some codes. But the beauty of all this is that it's also going to give me an SVG file that I can download, and I can work with that. So this is going to take a few seconds. So bear with me. It's going to give me 5 colors starting with, right? As you can see, it was pretty accurate in terms of creating a color palette that I can start using. Now, what I can do is I can download this. I can download this. This is an image, basically. As you can see, it's simply an image. I can download it, and I can use those colors. But the other thing I can do is, say, it's asking me, would you like me to prepare those colors to be suitable for your Tableau preferences file? I'm going to say, absolutely yes, please. And let's see what happens. While we are doing this, no, this is for the paid and the non-paid version, right? So what you can do is actually say, okay, fine, it's going to create this for you, right? And you can download it without a problem. So you can use it whether you have the paid version or the non-paid version. That's absolutely fine. And you can, as you can see, download this or save this as an image without a problem. But the other beautiful thing is that it had created, right, a preference code for our color palette, right? Now, do you know how to change the preferences code in your Tableau files? Right, okay. So what we have here is basically, this is the preferences file. And what we are going to do is we're going to come here. We're going to come back to Tableau. We're going to copy this part of the code. because we already have the preferences, right? And we are going to paste it here. Now, next time we open Tableau, it's going to show us the Williams Formula One preference file, right? We're going to save this for now. And then we're going to open Tableau in a few minutes, and we're going to show all that, right? Should we do another example? What do you think? Yes. I was also working on creating, the other day I was working on creating an infographic or a visualization about, basically about climate change, right? And then again, I didn't know where to start. So I said, okay, I need a color palette for that, right? Let's create one, right? And I created this prompt saying, okay, can I have 3 harmonious colors for my infographic about climate change, right? Let's see what ChatGPT is going to give us back. So it's looking at fairy red, bright golden yellow, deep ocean blue. Now, if you think about this, what is happening? Why is it giving me 3 colors only? Mainly because I asked ChatGPT to give me 3. By default, it's going to give me, basically, it's going to give me 5 colors if I don't say anything. But because I asked for 3, right, it's going to give me those 3. Now, I'm not so sure about this color palette. Do you think it's a good starting point for our visualization? I'm not so sure, right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to say, I am not so sure about those colors. Can you create 3 new ones and add another 2 to the mix? And this is the beauty of it. So basically, it's not set in stone that we're going to get just one simple set of colors, right? What I have just done is, and because this is interactive, I said, I'm not so sure, right? Can you give me another option? Can you give me something else I can use? Plus, if you don't mind, just add 2 more colors. Now we are going to end up with 5 colors. And this is more something that I was actually looking for, basically. Now it looks great, right? And this is more or less what I wanted for my visualization. And I said, yes, please. Can we add it into the preferences file, right? So it's going to give me all the colors we need directly to be added to the preferences file. I'm going to copy this. We are going to come back to the preferences file. We're going to bring back the preferences file here. We're going to add them. Then again, we save, right, and ready. We're going to do one more example. And this is something that I was thinking, okay, I'm presenting today at the Florida Tableau user group. Let's create a color palette, right, based on Florida. What do you think those colors are going to be? Care to guess? Do you think which colors we're going to get? Probably orange, yellow, blue. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT has to give us. Right. Orange, yellow, blue. Retro Florida vibes. That's the name of the color palette. Orange, yellow. Let's see what we get. Orange, red, and blue. Let's see what we get. That's pink, light blue. Oh, we were not that far off, right? We were not that far off. Basically, yes, we have coral, we have green, we have blues, sunrise peach, palm leaf green. Those are brilliant colors. Yes, Heidi. Yes, perfect. Yes, we have some really, really good colors. So as you can see, for this, ChatGPT not only gave us 5, it gave us 6 colors. And then again, we're going to say, yes, please add them to the color palette, the preferences color palette. And as we did previously, we're going to come back here and we're going to copy this. We're going to come back in here and paste them. Right? Save. Save the file. We're going to close it. Now let's bring Tableau into the equation. So let's bring Tableau. So far, so good. Everything's working. We haven't had anything broken. Everything's great. We can rename this. We can call it Florida TUG colors. We can rename this other one, and we are going to call it climate change viz. And this is, we are going to change this one. And we're going to call it, basically, we're going to call it Williams F1 Racing. Right, let's get, typical. When you need it, that's what's going to happen. Sorry, guys. I did warn that it was going to be a live presentation, so we're going to have these sort of issues. Really sorry. When it opens, do you have any questions? Anything you would like to ask? You aren't seeing your Tableau. No, because you're right. I have to renew the license because when I opened Tableau, it asked me had to exit it, and I had to renew the license. So if you bear with me super quickly for a couple of seconds, I'm going to do so, and we're going to come back to this. I'm going to sign in. Just give me 1 second. Oh. Sorry, bear with me for a second. I will have to move this away. Just 1 sec. Nearly there. We're nearly there. I know you cannot see anything yet, but I'm almost finished. It's authenticating. Well, hopefully within a second. Yes. We have Tableau up and running. Right, here we go. Can you see Tableau now? Yes, fantastic. Thanks, Aaron, for answering those questions. Right, let's open our workbook. Right, let's go to this area chart. And let's change the colors. So if I go here, I'm going to edit. And as you can see, if I go all the way down, we have what? We have the Williams, we have the climate change in awareness, and we have the retro Florida vibes, right? So if I pick that, I've got all the colors plus some more that Tableau will actually give you by default. And as you can see, I can start changing colors. I'm going to use the teal, for example, and for non-profitable, we're going to use the coral. As you can see, we have now our new colors in our visualization. Now, this is great because, as you saw, we started by asking Tableau to change some colors automatically, right? And within seconds, what we did was basically we were able to change all those colors without a problem. So as you can see, and Aaron was also saying, once you add them into your preferences file, they will always be there, right? And you will be able to use them without any problem, without an issue. Now I can see I can use this one, for example, and we can start changing the colors, right? And even if I don't have this, remember that we were using ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was actually giving us the codes, right? So remember that we have those codes, for example, that was giving us, right? And I have this color. So I say, okay, I want this palm leaf code for my visualization. Right, I'm going to bring it here, and I can also paste it there. Whoops, sorry, copy. There we go. And now I have changed the colors, and I can start using every single color that our color palette generator gave us, right? What do you think? So far, so good? Yes? Excellent. Fantastic. Brilliant. Now, what do you think if we start doing something more interesting, and we're going to ask ChatGPT to start thinking? Remember, so far, it's actually answering us based on what ChatGPT knows, right? So remember those 175 billion, right, computational records that it had. Now it has way much more than those now. However, there's a new version of ChatGPT, right? Thank you, Sharon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Linda, Aaron, Tara. Fantastic. Thank you so much for what you are typing in the chat. Now, let's go back here for a second. I want to show you this graph again, because it's super important. This graph is super, super important. Not actually this one. Come on. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to this slide here. Now, this demo slide here is something I wanted to tell you. So everything that I've been showing you so far, has been within this average IQ quadrant, right? So we know that the average IQ, this is the average IQ of human beings, basically. However, these are the previous versions, on the very beginning, all the versions. The existing version that I was showing you so far until now was about here. However, in the last few months, right, since September this year, September 14th, there's a new version of ChatGPT. And this new version is way, way, way much more intelligent than the one that I've been showing you so far at the moment. Now, this is the part where you can only use this if you have the paid version, right? So this is the part where you can only use it if you have the paid version of ChatGPT. Now, as you can see, there's a massive big difference. And the big difference is that now ChatGPT can actually think, right? Raise your hand if by any chance, after a project or where you've been working in a project, you have to create documentation. Tell me if you have been in that situation where you have to create a documentation about something that has happened or something that you have done. Yes, 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 absolutely yes. Perfect. Have to? Should we? Oh, yes, absolutely yes, we have to. Unfortunately, it's something that we don't like, right? We don't like. No, what happens if I say to you, okay, I just created or finished creating a visualization, and that visualization is going to be used by a bunch of new 100 viewers. We're going to have 100 new viewers, right, within that visualization. Those people have never used Tableau Server before or Tableau Cloud. They have never been to Tableau, and we have to give them some sort of documentation, like step-by-step on how to do it, what to do, and the art of possible as a viewer, right, with that. Now, have you ever been in that situation where you have to create some sort of document for those new users? I guess yes. All of us have been there. All of us, at some point, we have to have to create something like that. As I mentioned, we've been using at the moment this model, which is the 4.0, but now we're going to start using the new one. We're going to go to the big leagues. Now we have told ChatGPT to start thinking. I'm going to give ChatGPT this basically very long prompt, and this very long prompt is actually telling that I have a group of new users, and I want it to help me create a document, right, as part of my project delivery and rollout about the art of possible in Tableau Server for viewers. Now, before that, it was going to give us something really good. I'm not saying no. However, right, I want Tableau, ChatGPT to think and to help me create something that it's going to take us a lot of time to actually for us to create, right? And also, additionally, I'm asking it to include anything that that could be relevant that I might have overlooked, right? And we're going to see something that it didn't happen before. And as you can see now, ChatGPT is thinking. It's creating the document, highlighting views, highlighting subscriptions, and it started to create the document. Now, before we go into the document, I want to show you that it actually thought for 10 seconds. It actually took only 10 seconds for ChatGPT to start building this graph. And if I come here, it's giving me a detail of what it actually did. It actually looked at all the information that we needed and started building it. Now, as you can see, we have the title page, right? The art of possible for viewers in Tableau Server. The name of the organization, everything that you can start actually is giving me a table of contents, right? And it's actually giving me all the information that we need, section by section, introduction. What's the purpose of this document? Who is this document for? Who is this guide for, right? What is Tableau Server? Just a quick description of what it is. Getting started, go to Tableau Server, how to access Tableau Server. Of course, we're going to change this URL. It's actually giving them step-by-step on how to log in to Tableau Server. Obviously, each organization has a different way of doing this. So you can modify, you can adapt, you can customize this. Navigating the homepage, for example, and projects, right? It's giving you all that information, right? Making favorites, easy access. And this is something that we actually did. This is a real example of something that we actually did. And I took all this information. I took the liberty to read all this, make sure that everything was okay, took all this information and created an actual document that then we converted into PDF. We added some screenshots and information that they needed, right? And that was the document done. Something that would have taken us hours and probably even days to actually create and make sure everything was ready. We did it within hours. Honestly, it was super quick, super simple, right? How to personalize your experience, saving custom views, right? Resetting filters, adding comments and notes, using bookmarks. Look at all the information that you have, exporting, sharing your dashboard, exporting as a PNG, PDFs, PowerPoints, additional features for viewers, right? How to subscribe, say the data-driven alerts, right? I didn't ask ChatGPT to do this. It actually looked and it actually created all this information for me. Best practices and tips. I never asked ChatGPT to do this, right? It's on something that it created after that thinking or how to work with it. Not only that, it's also giving us a glossary of terms, right? It's telling us what a workbook is. It's telling us what a view is, what a project, what a filter, what a tooltip is, and so on. It might not be the perfect document. It might not be exactly everything that you need, but it's a great, great starting point. Don't you think? What do you think? Would you use this information? Would you use all this to start your document? And yes, this is only for the paid version, right? So this ChatGPT 0.0, right, is 0.1 is with the paid version. You may have, for the non-paid version, a slightly simpler version of this one, but there are lots of limitations in terms of how many times you can use it during the week or during the month, and it's got plenty of limitations. But if you want to use it in anger, and if you want to start giving it some really, really use to this existing technology, this is the right place to start, and this is where you can actually start. Can you show the details tab again and see what's useful? Sorry, which tab? Details, Sharon. Sorry, I'm not sure which one is that. My Christmas list, paid version of ChatGPT, free version of Tableau or ChatGPT. Good one, Alicia. Absolutely pioneer. This is great. Thank you so much. Brilliant. Fantastic. So far, so good. Both, Alicia. Excellent. Fantastic. Brilliant. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay. We have about 10 minutes. And I want to show you one more thing, right? One more option that I want to show you. And then again, I'm going to use the same model, but this time, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to review this visualization of mine, this infographic that I created some time ago. I'm going to ask a number of questions about analysis, about design, right, and about storytelling. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to tell me what this visualization is all about, right? For that, I'm going to get the prompt from here, right? This is a very long prompt. We're not going to go into the detail, but basically, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to score from 0 to 5 different questions of my visualization. First, what I'm going to do is we're going to upload that visualization. So I'm going to upload this to ChatGPT. This is something new. We were not able to do it until a week ago. Now we can upload files to this new model, the one that thinks and the one that reasons. And I'm going to say, okay, from 0, completely failed, to 5, outstanding, right? Tell me what this visualization is all about, and analyze, right, each section that about analysis, about design, and about storytelling, right? I'm going to click. I'm going to let ChatGPT to understand what it's doing. So it's actually thinking. It's going to analyze, and it's going to give me a score based on each one of those questions. Right? So it's actually telling me that it presents data about World Happiness Report, focusing on happiness scores and how they vary worldwide by country and continent. And if you see, it's absolutely spot on, because it's actually looking at each one of the countries, the visualization, and it's also looking at each one of the continents as well. So if you look at it, it's giving me exactly what this whole visualization is all about, right? Key information found, global ranking, by countries by score, breakdown of contributing factors, GDP, social support, life expectancy. And if you can see, that's exactly what we have, right? Exactly what we have in our visualization. Continental comparison, offering averages, right? Happiness between Oceania, Europe, Americas, and so on. And references to the 2020 World Happiness Finding and all that information. But the beauty of it is that, and this is something funny that I would like you to see, it's actually showing me from 0 to 4, analyzing, right, each one of those sections. Now, the funny thing is, because obviously it doesn't know whether it was created in Tableau or not, but it's giving me a score of 1. We know it's been created in Tableau because it's Tableau public, and as you can see, there's a lot of interactivity as well. We know it's Tableau public, it's something created in Tableau, but ChatGPT doesn't know. What actually also tells me something, we always have to read carefully all the information that it gives us, right? Not because it's super smart or super intelligent, we're going to say, oh yes, everything you say is great, everything you say it's absolutely fine, right? We always have to basically take into consideration that it can make mistakes, right? And like in this case, like it doesn't know whether I'm actually using Tableau or not, and it's giving me a score of 1. Design 3, 4, 3, 3, 5, 4, for example. Storytelling 3, 4, 4, 4. Overall, very good, really good results. I'm super happy. My visualization has scored super, super high based on all that, right? How are we so far? Everything okay? Do you like it? Do you see yourself using all this in the near future? Yes, thank you, Linda. Yes, Rachel, fantastic. Excellent. And this is basically the presentation. This is the presentation. I just wanted to show you quickly, within an hour, all the things that I've been playing with lately. I would like to share with you the QR code where you can actually download the presentation, right? And not only you can download the presentation, but also you can access those GPTs, right? And create your own color palettes or fix your own formulas without a problem, right? Aaron, I don't know if we have any questions, if we have time for a quick chat.
Well, I've got just one question, and everyone else can chime in if they want, or if they can put it in the chat, that's fine. You were talking about that where it was thinking for 10 seconds, that it was the paid version. Which paid version was that using?
It's the paid version is the Plus version, not the Pro. The Plus version is I think it's about $20 per month, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and the Pro one is $200. So I'm glad to hear that it's the cheaper one that did that.
Yes, it's the cheapest one of the 2 versions, the two paid version, which is the Plus, right? The Pro is something that it was released about 4 or 5 days ago. And at the moment, there isn't much difference, except that you have more tokens to use that thinking version of ChatGPT at the moment. There will be new functionalities that will come, right, for the exuberant amount of 10 times the Plus version, basically. But other than that, there isn't much difference at the moment. So they're actually opening the umbrella for what's coming with the Pro version. But with the Plus version, you can create your own GPTs, you can use the thinking version and all that. Yes.
Do you have to pay for it like all at one time, or can it actually be a month to month? Because I'd be interested to just try out some things.
It's actually month to month. I don't have the full year paid. I just pay every month by month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine, because like even if we just want to like let me test out how this would work in my daily life, you can do that without having to just front all the money up front. So
exactly. No, absolutely. And that's a really good thing, because another good thing about this is if you're going to go for the paid version, the Plus version, I will suggest you do 2 things. One of them is look on YouTube how to create prompts, because it's super important how how to prompt ChatGPT to perform certain things, and this is extremely important. And the other thing you can do is, now that you have the paid version, you can automate your processes like I did. So basically, yes, you can prompt every time you need a color palette, or you can create a GPT to create your own color palettes straight away, and it will follow some guidelines every time it has to do it, right? Otherwise, you will have to create the prompt to create the color palette, tell ChatGPT to give you 5 colors, and then once you have all that, you will have to ask ChatGPT to also give you the preferences file code and all the stuff. So with a GPT, you preempt all those requests, and ChatGPT knows what to do once you're using those custom GPTs.
Yep. I don't see any other questions there, but
yeah.
I have a couple of things I just wanted to mention, not questions, but I've been using this for about last year, almost exclusively for the last year, almost daily, to help me with these really tough calcs. And some of the things that I liked about it is sometimes I'll write a calculation and it'll give me that the error about aggregate and non-aggregate data. I don't have to fully type out the error message that it gives me. I could just say it's saying this, and it knows what I'm saying, and it can start troubleshooting it and move on. So if anybody thinks like you have to be, word for word, you don't have to use punctuation, you don't have to use capitalization. You can be as generic as you want, and it understands what you're trying to do.
Absolutely. If I were to go back and give ChatGPT a formula, right, that it's missing a comma or a bracket, for example, or something like that, it will tell me, you know what, this is how you can actually fix that formula, and this is what's actually missing, right? How many times we have a massive formula, super long, one of those very big long case statements or if statements with multiple if statements or else ifs, crazy, that are 3 kilometers long, for example, and then there's something missing and you don't know what the problem is, and you have to start all over again, right? So you type that formula onto ChatGPT and it will pinpoint exactly what the problem is and how to fix it. Yeah, that's something really, really good as well.
Yep. Another thing that I noticed is new is there's that attachment in the free version. So I used that earlier this week, and I have a table of numbers, and I'm trying to do some math between different rows and columns, and I just told it I'm trying to do this number divided by this number plus this number, and it created that calculation for me based off of the image that I provided it. So instead of having to explain, because some things are very difficult to explain, but if I can just show it, I'm trying to do this right here, this math right here, it'll write that calculation for me. That saves so much time.
Yeah, absolutely, and it works really, really well on that as well. Have you ever tried pasting a screenshot of a Tableau graph that you would like to replicate and make a GPT online the steps? No, I haven't. But that's a very good idea for a new GPT. That is something really, really good that we should try. Although we might have to give some sort of information, most likely for it to understand what sort of fields are involved and all that kind of stuff. But that's a very interesting one. That's a very interesting way. It's something worth trying. I promise if I can find a way to actually get that done, I'll come back and I'll do another chat next year. I promise. Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll have you on next year, because it's always good content from you, and it's always a full hour long. So we appreciate you coming. Have a great Christmas and New Year, and we'll see you. We'll see you around. Maybe I'll see you next summer.
Definitely, absolutely.
All right.
Give me a shout. Take care. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Have a good one.